Well, hello there, my fellow rushers. How are you doing today? King Rex here. And for today we have a pretty interesting challenge. And there's a question that must be answered with this challenge. And the question is, can you beat Kingdom Rush Frontier's heroic challenges on veteran with only tier 3 towers? Well, without any further ado, let's jump in and find out. But of course, before we begin, we have to explain the rules of the challenge real quick, so here we go. Rule number 1. We're playing only on the main campaign. We're not including the post-games heroic challenges because some of them I think are literally impossible. So just sit until. Rule number 2. We're playing on the highest difficulty available, which is, of course, veteran mode. And rule number 3. What can we use? Well, we can only use tier 3 towers. And I will be skipping the first 2 levels because, you know, there's no tier 3 towers in there. We're gonna be starting from level 3. And of course, I will be adding an additional rule, which is I can only use Bonehart 3 times. So I just don't want to brush through the game with within a blink of an eye. So I'll be leaving him only for when he's most important and when he's the most needed. Until then, everyone else is allowed. Or then maybe besides Shatra and Dante, but you get the point. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright then, so what do we have here? The first level is easy. Or technically the third level, but you know, you don't really get the tier 3 towers unless you get to this level. So that's why I'm starting off with this one, and to be honest, it's a lot easier than I was expecting it to be. Back in the day, you know, back when I was kind of bad in this game. I mean, I'm still kind of bad, but it depends on the level, you know. So basically, you just have to combine everything. You don't try to separate both sides. Just let everybody come to the choke point on the back, and you should be Gucci. And now for the second level. And yeah, it's kind of iffy. It was a little bit rough, mainly due to the amount of scorpions that we're gonna get later on. And as you can see, we have like 150 desert tugs. Like, what? Yeah, that's quite a lot of them. It's ridiculous. Like, why did they decide to send so many of them? I mean, obviously to use artillery. And speaking of the tier 3 towers, have you noticed how similar they are to the ones in the original Kingdom Rush? Like, sure, some of the textures are a little bit different, you know. I think the only really changed quote-unquote tower is the mage. I would say it has the least similarities. I mean, sure, it still looks kind of similar, but the tower itself has a little bit of a different structure than the usual, or the one in the original Kingdom Rush. I mean, yeah, even the names, like, some of the names are just exactly the same, like Wizard Tower, that used to be in the original Kingdom Rush. The Dwarven Hazard, whatever you want to pronounce it, the tier 3 artillery, its name exactly the same. Same goes for, oh, maybe not. Oh yeah, the barracks. The barracks are named exactly. I think they were knights, if I remember correctly. And now, as you can see, we're starting to use our hero, and we'll be using Kaz. And you're gonna see him for the majority of the video, because I freaking love this guy. Now sure, is he the best in the game? No, by any means, he's not. But, you know, there probably would have been better options than him. The main issue with Kaz is that he's kinda like Ignis, but way worse, because you pretty much don't... It's really hard to control him. Because, you know, he rushes quite wildly, like... He rushes every like 12 seconds or so, and the distance is quite large, as you can see. He can just rush through like a fourth of the map in a blink of an eye. It's ridiculous. And it's really hard to keep him on the same target. And yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt to deal with sometimes, especially on the harder maps. But you know, this is an easy level, so we just destroy it. Without a dwarf, it's actually a little bit harder than you think. It took me a couple of tries, but you know, we did it without the dwarf. Even though it would have been a lot helpful. And now here we have quite a few scorpions. You know, we're just gonna stun them with Kaz. We can teleport some of them. You know, it's nice. He boosts our towers. You know, he just screams his lungs out into the air and just boosts our towers to do 75% more damage. It's a pretty big boost. However, it's kind of a short one. It's not like it lasts for very long. I think it lasts only 4 seconds, and the cooldown is like 35. So you don't really get that much of a boost as you think. And it really depends on the tower, because let's say we're using Dwarf. You know, the dwarf attacks every 3 seconds. So technically speaking, you're gonna get only one attack. Like, is it really worth it? Not really. I guess it depends on the tower, you know. If you get them with like crossbow forts or battle mechas, you know, towers that attack relatively quickly, it would have been a pretty noticeable difference, but with slow attacking towers like mages or dwarf, as I mentioned, it's not gonna be quite as good. But still, it's a nice ability to have, nevertheless. Now here we are, already at the last wave. Wow. Well, that's been pretty easy, I suppose. It hasn't been that much of an issue. Like, look at this. We just have quite a few executioners to take care of, but Kaz can just destroy them. He can just destroy them with relative ease. And yeah, now we're gonna continue into the jungle, and the first few jungle levels are surprisingly easy. Like, wow. I never thought that these levels will be easy. And, you know, for the most part they were, but we're gonna get to the hard ones eventually. But for now, yeah, we're just gonna destroy it, and boom. Here we are in the jungle, the mighty jungle, and here we have to deal with savages and a lot of spiders. And you know, it really makes me sad that I can't use a dwarf. Like, look at this spot over there, in the bottom. It's a perfect spot for dwarf. But unfortunately we can't use it, we only have the tier 3 artillery, which, you know, it's doing an okay job, you know. It's not amazing or anything, but it helps out to clean up the spiders, which, you know, is good. And yeah, it's been surprisingly easy, so let's talk about something else for now. You're probably thinking, but why aren't you doing the campaign stages, you know, like I did in Kingdom Rush Origins, which, you know, it was probably one of the harder things that I have to do in Kingdom Rush, like, overall. Especially the last 2 levels, they were quite ridiculous, and they took me a very long time. But, you know, the game is surprisingly a lot easier than you think. Or, you know, alright, and it's not easy, but you get it. You can beat it with almost anything. Like, I believe Morgan did a video where he beat the entire main campaign on Kingdom Rush Origins with like tier 1 archers, which, you know, is pretty insane. I don't know how he was able to pull it off, but that was pretty ridiculous. I would say that's his second hardest challenge though, because if you've been a long following fan of him, like me, you probably know that there was a bit of a challenge that he kinda failed, and I don't blame him for it, because I'm pretty sure it's impossible. If you haven't decided which one it is, it's basically Kingdom Rush Frontiers with only barracks. It's tough. Like, I don't know how he was able to pull it off all the way up to the last level, but congratulations. Still, he wasn't able to beat it, but I don't think it's beatable, man. Like, there's so many, and when I say, like, there's like 40 or so Razor Wings, and you have the bigger, what were they called? I don't remember their name. The big dragons, and you know, they're kind of ridiculous because they fly very fast. They have a pretty decent amount of health, and they spawn new dragons as they go. So yeah. Also, apologies, that was my Discord. I always forget to mute it, even when I'm recording. Like, this is a bad habit of mine, and I really should work on it, but I just don't have the time for now, so we have to roll with it. And yeah, the Gorillans, we're just gonna destroy them. Yay. So yeah, the reason why I wasn't doing the main campaign, well, I was trying it, and I was doing pretty well. Sure, I had a couple of struggles. The hard levels were level 11, the Sakura Temple, I think that's what the level was called, the level with the big monkey. And the next level, which was really hard, was the Dark Descent. Like, this level took a few hours to get the hang of it, but I was able to beat it somehow with like 4 lives. It was pretty tough. But the last level proved to be quite a little stinker, and I wasn't able to do it. Like, I tried for so many hours, and I just... Wave 15, man, it's so overwhelming, and you just don't have enough group damage, and you have to worry about so many things. You have to worry about the savants, because if you leave them for too long, they're gonna overwhelm you with, you know, random enemies. But you also have to be careful about the brutes, because they're super duper tanky. Even though they have no armor, they're surprisingly able to push through your defense with relative ease, with tier 3 towers, believe it or not. And I just couldn't get past wave 15. It was ridiculous. I've been trying it for hours upon hours on end. And I talked to another YouTuber by the name of MMMLH. You probably already know who he is. He is pretty outstanding player. And I talked to him about this challenge, and he said he will give it a try, but unfortunately he wasn't able to pull it off as well. So if a player that's like 10 times better than me can pull it off, I don't think I will be able to pull it off either. So I decided to switch up to the heroic challenges, which, you know, it's a little bit more interesting, because most challenges you see are usually like the campaign stages. Nobody really bothers about the heroic stages, or iron stages for that matter. outside War Champion. He does them very frequently, and I don't know how he has the time to post so many videos per day, but hey, good on him. And now here we are. Here we have a little bit of a rough level. This is the first level where we really start struggling, and everything has been going pretty flawlessly, I suppose, but that was about to change. Because look at all of these shamans that we have. We have the entire bundle of shamans. We have the Spirit Shaman, the Earth Shaman, the Healer, or the Witch Doctor, that's his proper name, and the Blood Trickster. So we have a lot of crap to deal with. And Wave 6 has a lot of shamans. And we also have Gorillans and Polka Riders on the other side. It's pretty easy setup. You just have to go magic on the left side, and you have to go for artillery on the right side. You know, it sounds pretty easy, but as you can see, Kaz's teleport can screw us over, and we're just getting overwhelmed, man. Like, that was a bad micro on my side. And the funny thing is that the Gorilla actually end up leaking, not the Shamans, which I was expecting them to be, but nope. So yeah, we have to do this again. Here we go again. Alright, this time we can do a little bit better. Or at least I think that's what's gonna happen, you know. Like, the main issue in this level is just the Earth Shaman, because he gives them very high armor. I don't remember the exact percentage, maybe it was like 70% or so. I don't remember. I don't read the wiki all that often though, which is a bad thing, it's a bad habit. You definitely should search the wiki if you're gonna do a challenge like this, because you need to be aware of almost any enemy, or at least the harder ones. And you know, they're kind of a pain in the butt, because even the artillery is having struggles, and you know, that's our best bet, because you can go for archers, obviously, because they don't do enough damage. You can't go for magic either, because you have the Spirit Shamans, so how are you gonna deal with them? And on top of that, we have the Tricksters in the middle, which, you know, they resurrect them. I don't remember if they heal. Maybe this is some part of my memory that I just messed up, but I'm pretty sure they did some sort of heal move, but I'm not quite sure. And you know, we also have the Witch Doctors, which, you know, regenerate their health, and you know, it's a pain. It's kind of awful, and I should have probably switched the hero, and I was thinking about it, but it was just so close. Like, I was dying to the last few enemies. Alright, and this one wasn't quite the last few enemies, but you get the point. For the most part, I was doing a really good job, but unfortunately here, it was kind of disappointing. Like, why is this level so hard? So, basically what I tried to do was, I put another barrack here, and you know, it should help out, you know, separating them a little bit. Even though it's gonna do nothing, at least we're gonna stall a few of them, especially the Tricksters, because you know, if the Tricksters are too close to them and they're not blocked, they're just gonna resurrect them as zombies, and that could end up screwing me over. And also Kaz teleport can screw us over, because if he teleports like a gorilla on the other side, it's gonna get pretty messy. So yeah, I mean, I'll explain more how he works in my upcoming review, which should come out in a few weeks, so stay tuned. And yeah, this time, oh no, no, not this time. This time we miraculously beat it. So yeah, after 2 hours we succeeded in it. However, this one was quite awful, surprisingly, because underpass have never been a hard level for me. I've always brushed through this level. I used to level up all of my heroes here because, you know, I usually level them up on the first level on the third act of the game, which is usually level 11 in most games. And you know, that's what I've been doing in Frontiers, in Origins, and even in Vengeance. But I think in Vengeance that was technically level 12 or something like that, because there have been 16 levels, if I remember correctly. Of course, excluding the tutorial level, because to me it's technically not a... shouldn't be counted. Because, you know, it has it doesn't even have a number, so yeah. As you can see, we're really close, but the meteor just doesn't come back in time. That's what it comes down to, man. You just have to time the meteor perfectly. You need multiple meteors on these guys, because on the last wave you get 30 whopping 6 Myrmidons. And that's a lot of them. And even with magic and a bunch of artillery, they're still a really tough foe to deal with. Because, you know, they have medium armor and they have like 800 health or so. And yeah, and if they're in melee combat, they can just take a chunk out of your units and regenerate health, which, you know, makes them even more annoying. And there's a big crowd of them. Yeah, this time we even leaked to the Brute Guard. Alright, let's give Ashbite a try. I don't know why I even tried Ashbite, he's so bad, but I just thought maybe he can do it. He has a good crowd control, maybe he can do something. And it's been going well, you know, not that much of a difference, and we're at the last wave, but as you can see the results are, I would say, worse than with Cause, so yeah. We end up screwing it up, and we die, unfortunately. So yeah, I switched to Cause again, and I wanted to see how good it could go. Will we be able to pull it off this time? Maybe we are, maybe we're not. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Come on, Wave 6, I'm waiting for you. Alright, let's just prepare. This time, no magic will be found in the building. We're gonna be building only artillery. I know it's a bit weird, but surprisingly this works. Yeah, spamming only tier 3 artillery and getting one barrack. Who needs to strategize when you can just spam tier 3 artillery, right? It's surprisingly easy, even though the stunts are a bit annoying because sometimes they kind of separate the Myrmidons away from each other, but you know, it didn't matter. We end up beating it with somewhat of an ease, surprisingly. And now here we go with Bonehart now. And you know, I know, it's kinda like, why Bonehart? Well, maybe this level would have been possible, but there are just so many crowd that, like, every wave is just a big ass crowd. And you just get a lot of annoying enemies, and you know. Alright, I'm making excuses. I could have done it with some other hero, but you know, I just wanted to feel a little bit of a relaxation this time, so I used Bonehart, and he's been doing pretty alright, like, pretty easy. However, this level was pretty tough even with Bonehart. It was a little bit challenging in the beginning when you don't know what's going on, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes a lot easier. The main issue is that we have Savants now, and Savants are one of the most annoying units, at least to me. I don't know about you, but I freaking hate those things. They just constantly spawn and spawn and spawn, and they just never stop unless you kill them. But the thing is that once they summon a bunch of enemies, they're just gonna start walking forward, and your towers are gonna prioritize your newly spawned enemies instead of the Savant. So yeah, it's been kind of annoying, but we beat it, and we're already at the last level. Well, that's pretty interesting. Alright, let's see what the last level has to offer. Surprisingly, not all that much. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but the heroic challenges in this game are very disappointing. Like, I was expecting some challenge and all, but apparently no. Maybe artillery is too strong, maybe Bonehart is broken, or maybe the game was poorly designed, but I'm not gonna say that because, you know, there's been a lot of Kingdom Rush lovers that love Kingdom Rush Frontiers, so I don't want to get on your bad side, guys. So, I mean, I like Frontiers, you know, it's not my personal favorite game, but I still enjoy it on time to time. Even though I haven't played it for like quite a while, I still find myself enjoying it. And here we are, the last few enemies should go down with relative ease. We have Savant, we're just gonna destroy him. Bonehart will just spawn kill him. Come on, Bonehart, come on. Kill him already. Oh, he survived on like very few hit points. Oh, come on, there you go. And the brutes, they got a little bit far, but with some pop and weave action, we destroyed them. Oh yeah, so, in the end, the question must be answered. Can you beat Kingdom Rush Frontiers' heroic challenges on Veteran with just tier 3 towers? Yes. Yes, you can do it indeed. Sure, I used Bonehart towards the last few levels, but I feel like the last level was really impossible without Bonehart, to be completely honest with you. I mean, sure, maybe Beerus' Lair was possible, maybe Dark Descent if you pull off some insane micro, but I just simply don't have the time to do so. And yeah, that was pretty cool. I actually enjoyed this game again. It hasn't been. It's been a long time since I've enjoyed this game, to be honest. So yeah, this challenge was nice and refreshing. I hope you enjoyed. So yeah, guys, well, that's gonna do it for the video. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you for sticking around to the end. Subscribe if you want to see more of this content in the future. And while you're at it, drop a like on the video. It means a lot to me. And I will see you in the next video. Until it comes. That was King Rexy, over and out.